يا أيها الذين آمنوا لم تقولون ما لا تفعلون كبر مقتا عند الله أن تقولوا ما لا تفعلون إن الله يحب الذين يقاتلون في سبيله صفا كأنهم بنيان مرصوص وإذ قال موسى لقومه يا قوم لم تؤذونني وقد تعلمون أني رسول الله إليكم فلما ذاقوا أذاق الله قلوبهم والله لا يهدي القوم الفاسقين وإذ قال عيسى ابن مريم يا بني إسرائيل إني رسول الله إليكم مصدقا لما بين يدي من التوراة ويبشرا برسول يأتي من بعد اسمه أحمد فلما جاءهم بالبينات قالوا هذا سحر مبين ومن أظلم ممن افترى على الله الكذب وهو يدعى الإسلام والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا. رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. صدق الله العلي العظيم. جهت تأجيل ده فرج وإمام الزمان إجماعا صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بأبي عبد الله الحسين وجعلنا وإياكم من الطالبين بثأره مع ولي الإمام المهدي عجل الله فرجه الشريف. اللهم Dear brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted this beautiful opportunity, which many are deprived of in other parts of the world where they are not able to openly or freely commemorate the Azza of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Alhamdulillah, we have this opportunity, and inshallah, may Allah accept this offering that we put forward in these nights on behalf of us, those present over here, those who haven't been able to make it tonight, on the behalf of all our marhumeen, on behalf of all the Shia Haidar Karrar, the lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam around the globe. For the acceptance of our deeds, let us recite aloud salawat al Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Just a few announcements, brothers and sisters. As it was mentioned yesterday as well, that there's a need of volunteers. Alhamdulillah, we've got a few names. However, there's another still opening for volunteers to help in other parts of the event that take place, either be helping, volunteering to help arrange the refreshments or the teaching duties that have discussed earlier. So if there's any brothers and sisters who would like to volunteer for these duties, do let the EC committee members know on both sides. Inshallah, we'll have the youth competition as mentioned, that we'll be giving out your documents, inshallah, those files for the notes, just for the brothers and sisters who weren't able to make it in the earlier nights. This is an initiative that encourages the youth people from the age of 9 to 19 to take notes, to listen carefully to the talks that has been given over here during these nights of Muharram al-Haraam. And for the ages between 9 to 13, at least 3 points are required to make from the lecture that is given. And from the age of 13 or 14 to 19, at least 5 points need to be made. Based on the accuracy or the way the notes have been taken, the content, inshallah, the two best students, as I would say, of this Majlis Azza will be rewarded, inshallah, awarded and recognized for their efforts, inshallah, after Ashura. Alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters, that you've been hearing for these past two nights, alhamdulillah, we have Sheikh Anwar Jaffer, who has been addressing, and he has started where he has spoken about these sacred months and Muharram al-Haraam being amongst those sacred months. And yesterday he had mentioned or emphasized the importance of crying on the way of Sayyid al-Shuhada, the benefits and how the Anbiya before the Prophet and how the Imams, A'immah had been remembering this act, and they had encouraged people, and they had hired, or as he had said, that he had requested people at the time, at the Imam's time, that would come and they would deliver talks. Alhamdulillah, we are also given this opportunity right now that we are able to help contribute towards this cause. As I had mentioned earlier, there's a budget been assigned. So inshallah, people are requested to donate generously, as this is some cause where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Munafiqun that when the ajal, when the time of death comes, the person would have this hasra, would have this desire that, why had I not put something forward? Oh, I wish that I had put something forward. So alhamdulillah, these are beautiful opportunities where we can donate generously and be amongst those that we are able to put forward, and then inshallah we'll be able to gain in multiplied amounts, inshallah, in the akhirah. Just a few poetic verses in the honor of Sayyid al-Shuhada, where indeed, as we know, the event of Karbala has transpired, and there was nothing left but the burning tents on the plains of Karbala. And this is what the poet has penned. Kya raha khaymon mein shah ke ek udasi rah gayi. Kya raha khaymon mein shah ke एक उदासी रह गई. क्या रहा खैमों में शह के एक उदासी रह गई. क्या रहा खैमों में शह के एक उदासी रह गई. सिर्फ रोने को मोहम्मद کی نواسی رہ گئی، صرف رونے کو محمد کی نواسی رہ گئی۔ چھینتا تھا شمر چادر اور زینب بار بار، چھینتا تھا شمر چادر اور زینب بار بار، اپنی چادر کے محافظ کو بلاتی رہ گئی۔ کیا رہا خیموں میں شہ کے ایک اداسی رہ گئی، کیا رہا خیموں میں شہ کے ایک اداسی رہ گئی۔ خون دل عباس کا سب بہہ گیا رن میں مگر، خون دل عباس کا سب بہہ گیا رن میں مگر، دل میں بس ایک بات زینب کی رضا کی رہ گئی، دل میں بس ایک بات زینب کی رضا کی رہ گئی۔ اے مسلمانوں تمہاری غیرتیں کیا ہو گئیں، اے مسلمانوں تمہاری غیرتیں کیا ہو گئیں، تم تماشائی تھے زینب منہ چھپاتی رہ گئی، تم تماشائی تھے زینب منہ چھپاتی رہ گئی۔ قید میں بالی سکینہ کو ملا بابا کا سر، قید میں بالی سکینہ کو ملا بابا کا سر، منہ پہ منہ رکھ کر جو سوئی ماں جگاتی رہ گئی، کیا رہا خیموں میں شہ کے ایک اداسی رہ گئی، کیا رہا خیموں میں شہ کے ایک اداسی رہ گئی۔ مادر اصغر نہ بیٹھی سائے میں اصغر کے بعد، مادر اصغر نہ بیٹھی سائے میں اصغر کے بعد، سائے میں آئی تو زندہ لاش باقی رہ گئی، کیا رہا خیموں میں شہ کے ایک اداسی رہ گئی، کیا رہا خیموں میں شہ کے ایک اداسی رہ گئی۔ ہر تماچے پر سکینہ منہ پہ رکھ کر ننہاد، ہر تماچے پر سکینہ منہ پہ رکھ کر ننہاد، نیل رخساروں کے غازی کو دکھاتی رہ گئی، نیل رخساروں کے غازی کو دکھاتی رہ گئی، خیموں में शह के एक उदासी रह गई, क्या रहा खैमों में शह के एक उदासी रह गई, सिर्फ रोने को मोहम्मद की नवासी रह गई। अला लअनतुल्लाहि अलल कौम ज़ालिमीन, सयअलमु लज़ीना ज़लमू अय्य मुनक़लिबिन यनक़लिबून, इन्ना लिल्लाहि व इन्ना इलैहि राजिऊन। सल्लु अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद। Inshallah, before we have the talk by Sheikh Anwar Jaffer, inshallah, just to let you know, brothers and sisters, that the table had been posted in the corridor over there for recitations, and I'd like to strongly encourage my brothers, and especially the younger brothers, to take part in the recitations, in the Marsiya, either it be in the Matam, the Latmiya, and towards the end in Ziyad Ashura as well. Just for Ziyad Ashura, because there's a desire for everyone to be amongst the reciters, and alhamdulillah everyone is included in the recitations. We have limited that recitation to one per person but in these nights, but inshallah feel free to fill in that table. Just do it one night at least before. So for example, if you would like to recite something tomorrow, just fill in your name today for Marthiya, for Latmiya, and there's no restriction on any language. You can either recite it in English, in Urdu, in Arabic, in Farsi, whatever language you would like to recite, feel free to do so. Just a few more poetic verses in the honor of this month of Muharram. It's been penned by Shaykh Abul Hassan Muhammad Yasin, who writes this short poem as the new moon, referring to the moon of Muharram al-Haraam. With the new crescent comes an event like no other. The heavens are filled with lamentations of a mother, an imam, a guide, a master, a father, and also a brother. Your love, your light, your sacrifice, there will never be another. To be away from you and your mourning, perish I'd rather. How will I in front of God face Fatima and your grandfather? Upon the banks of Furat you lay thirsty, and that is our pain. Upon the banks of Furat you lay thirsty, and that is our pain. For I testify to God, there is no day like yours, O Hussein. There is no day like yours, O Hussein. La yawm ka yawmaka ya Aba Abdullah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And in order to address this majlis, I'd like to request Sheikh Anwar Jaffer. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Surah al-Mubarakah al-Fatiha. Can I request the brothers and sisters to move forward as much as possible, please? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله وسلم عليك يا سيدي ومولاي يا رسول الله. صلى الله وسلم عليك يا سيدي ومولاي وابن مولاي يا أبا عبد الله. فاز من اعتصم بحبلكم وأمن من لجأ إلى حسنكم. يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما. قال الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا بني أقم الصلاة وأمر بالمعروف وانه عن المنكر واصبر على ما أصابك إن في إن ذلك من أزم الأمور آمنا به صدق الله العلي العظيم. Elder scholars, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. One of the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praises Luqman al-Hakim by calling him the wise one is because of the advice that he delivers to his son. And one of the advices that he gives to his son, he says, Ya bunayya aqim as-salah wa'mur bil ma'ruf wanha 'anil munkar. He says, my son, establish salah in your life and establish amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy 'anil munkar. Enjoin the good and forbid the evil. And it's a very powerful piece of advice because he tackles two issues that we face in our lives on a daily basis. He tackles the issue of how we struggle in our personal lives, in our private lives, and he tackles the issue of how we struggle in our public lives. And the idea behind this is that salah and amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar has many characteristics which are similar and many characteristics which are different. And the characteristics which are different, for example, is when you compare salah with amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar, salah is between me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a personal commitment, it's a personal establishment, it's a personal relationship between me and my Lord. But amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar is a social thing. It's a support system for each and every one of us. One of the similarities of salah and amr bil ma'ruf is how I develop a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That salah is how I develop a relationship with Allah on a personal, on a private level. Whereas amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar is how I develop a relationship with Allah but on a social level. Another similarity between salah and amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar is that salah is me establishing a self-reformation system. So for example, I reform myself on a personal level, on a private level. Whereas amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar is when we try to reform the society on a social level. And this is something very important that we need to keep in mind. Because the ulama of akhlaq came forward and explained, they say that salah is the reformation of the self, but amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar is the reformation of the society, of the people around us. And the idea behind this is that when I pray salah, I focus on the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a personal level. But when I deal with the people around me, I should engage in what is known as amr bil ma'ruf, to enjoin the good and to forbid the evil. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So here Luqman, what he does is he begins to talk about two very important issues. The life, our private lives and our public lives. And the idea behind this is that there are many similarities between what happens in public and what happens in private. Now let me give you an example. The ulama of akhlaq and the ulama of irfan came forward and they said that a human being in his private life, there are many similarities between a person and an individual and a society. What similarities? They said that just as how a human being can become sick, a society can also become sick. Just as how a human being is alive, the society can also be alive. Just as how a human being can die, society can also die. Not physically, but spiritually. That we can live in a society where people are walking in the streets, people are going to the markets, people are going to go buy groceries, for example. They are alive, they are well, they are fit, but internally they are dead. And you find that because of this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar wajib. Because when a society dies, this is the last stage, this is the worst case scenario for any society that exists in dunya, to be part of a dead society. So you find that amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar is a support system, that we all take upon ourselves the responsibility to support one another. That if anyone from amongst us within this community goes towards the party of shaitan, then others can at least step forward and guide them back towards the party of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That if anyone, for example, sways themselves towards haram, then at least there are people, there are brothers and sisters within the same community that can stand up and support this person to come back towards the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Amar bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar is a support system where we help one another keep in track and stay on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. But when people do not care for one another and they do not support one another, what happens is the community begins to sink. The community begins to become ill, and the community then eventually, inevitably dies. And when a community dies, it's the worst case scenario, it's the worst case, or it's the worst position that a society can be in. This is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intervenes, and He, according to the ayats of the Holy Quran and the stories of the previous prophets, He has destroyed communities because these communities were dead from within. So when you look at the story of, for example, Nabi Saleh alayhi salam, and Nabi Lut alayhi salam, and Nabi Nuh alayhi salam, according to some narrations, according to some du'as, we are told that these communities were the worst of communities, that they were completely dead from within, that there was no case scenario where there was no chance for them to resuscitate themselves and come back and be alive. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intervened and He destroyed these communities. Some people may come forward and say, but this is cruelty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As in, regardless of it being cruel or no, you have to understand the history behind these communities. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not just intervene and destroy them completely. Allah gave them many warnings before destroying them. So when you look at, for example, the community of Lot, Allah said to them that if you commit doing what you are doing, then we will destroy you. Did they pay heed towards the words of Nabi Lot? No. They continued and continued and continued until Allah intervened and destroyed them. You look at, for example, the story of Nabi Saleh. When the she-camel was presented to the people of Saleh, Allah said through Nabi Saleh that if you were to slaughter this camel, then Allah will intervene and destroy you. What did they do? They came and they slaughtered the she-camel, and Allah destroyed them. Allah gave them a warning, and when they refused to bow to the laws of Allah, Allah destroyed them completely. Look at Nabi Nuh alayhi salam. Nabi Nuh, when he came to his people and said that the adhab of Allah is near, and the adhab of Allah will descend upon you, they used to mock him and they used to laugh at him. The narrations say that when he began building his ark, it took him 50 years to build his ark. Yes, they would come, they would see Nabi Nuh building an incredibly massive ark, and they would mock him. Yes, they saw him building the ark. This was a warning to them that the adhab is coming, but they did not pay heed and they mocked him. When the adhab began, when the rain began falling from the skies, when it began flooding the earth, they continued to mock him. Look at his son, his own son, Nabi Nuh alayhi salam. His own son, when the adhab of Allah was falling on the earth, Nabi Nuh said, do you not see the adhab falling on the earth? Come and join me, come to my ark. His son responds and says, no, I will climb the highest of the mountains, and I will escape the adhab of your Lord. This was the response of Nabi Nuh's own son. As in, the adhab is coming, it's there in front of you. But they refused to believe in the message. And of course, his son was destroyed amongst the entire community of Nabi Nuh alayhi salam. So you find that the system of Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar is an important system because it is a support system that we must help one another come towards the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is where the differentiation of committing sins is discussed amongst the scholars. That in Islam there is a difference when a person commits a sin in private and when a person commits a sin in public. When a person commits a sin in private, it's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's your own personal business. But when a person commits a sin in public, it's no longer between you and Allah, it's between you, Allah, and everyone around you who has witnessed you commit that sin. And as social beings, as human beings, we are social beings. We are influenced by the actions of those around us. My opinion changes according to the words that you tell me. My behavior changes according to your actions. Yes, I'm easily influenced by the people around me because I'm a social being. When a person commits evil in front of me, I'm influenced to perform that evil as well. When a person performs good around me, I am influenced to do good as well. If I have friends who constantly tell me, come towards the salah, for example, Salatul Jama'ah, let's go to the mosque on a Thursday night to listen to Dua Kumail, I'm easily influenced to come to the center and to listen to Dua Kumail. But when a person, for example, says, let's go clubbing here, let's go to this bar, let's go to this place, let's go to the cinemas to watch this movie, for example, then I'm easily influenced to go to these places because I'm a social being, yes? I am influenced by the actions of those around me. That I, as a father, for example, if I have a child and the child comes to the mosque, when he engages with others around him, if the people are good, then I will encourage my child to what? To interact with these people. Because in the end, I as a person, as a father, I want my child to be raised in the best of ways. I want my child to be the soldier of the Imam. This is what I want. And you know, sometimes this is something that I've realized and I've acknowledged, that when people are single, there's a sense of naivety in their behavior. When a person becomes married, marriage changes them. It changes the way they think. Their entire worldview changes. They don't care about themselves anymore. They care about the people around them. When they have children, they care about the child. Yes, these are good people. Of course, in this community, in this society, for example, people don't care about their children anymore. But a good person cares about their children. That a person wakes up in the morning thinking about the best for their children, not the best for themselves. So that entire worldview changes. That I, living in the 21st century, I want the best for my child. I want my child to not make the same mistakes that I made. I want the best for my child. And so I think about his friends, I think about his peers, I think about his colleagues, I think about his, for example, wishes and desires in dunya, and I guide him for that which is best for him. That if he comes into the center, for example, and he engages with people who are not good, then I will take on the responsibility to step forward and try and encourage that person to do good. This is Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. I act as a support system for that person to come towards the path of Allah, because when he is away from the path of Allah and continues to commit sins on a public level, it encourages the people around him to commit sins as well. When you come to Karbala and the whole incident of what happened between Imam Hussein alayhi salam and Yazid ibn Muawiyah, Imam Hussein made a very powerful statement. He said that Yazid, because he is now the caliph of the Ummah, because he is now the representative of the Muslims of that time, he said this is a very dangerous position to be in. Because why? The community is now on the brink of death. Spiritually, the people are dying. Imagine having a leader who is supposed to be the most knowledgeable, who is supposed to be the representative of Rasulullah, drinking wine, getting intoxicated by drinking wine. A person who plays with women, a person who plays with animals, for example. This is the representative of Rasulullah. The Imam made it clear that if Yazid is the Imam of the Ummah, then I will stand and I will act by enjoining the good and forbidding the evil, and I will fight against him. So the Imam took on that responsibility in his will, in his wasiyah to Muhammad ibn Hanafiya. He says, I am not rising against Yazid as a form of play, or with the desire to take control of the government. I am rising against Yazid ibn Muawiyah because I see it necessary to forbid the evil. That if Yazid carries on being the leader of the Ummah, this Ummah will die spiritually. And that's why the ulama, they say that the sacrifice that was made on the 10th of Muharram resuscitated Islam. It was through his holy blood that when it was shed, it resuscitated the spirit of Islam. It resuscitated and allowed Islam to relive once again. One of his strategies that Imam Hussein alayhi salam employed was to send Muslim ibn Aqil towards Kufa. Because the reason why he sent Muslim ibn Aqil towards Kufa was because Kufa was known to be the markaz al-Tashayyu'. It was considered to be the center of Shi'ism. Because he would have gotten support from Kufa than anywhere else. So one of the things that he employed was to send Muslim ibn Aqil towards the city of Kufa, to gather the people, to gather an army so that this army can rise and fight against Yazid ibn Muawiyah. When Muslim ibn Aqil was sent towards the city of Kufa, towards the last stages of his life, there's a confrontation that takes place between him and Ibn Ziyad, Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. In this particular incident that takes place between Muslim and Ibn Ziyad, Muslim ibn Aqil is in his final moments. He's beaten, he's bruised, his body is bloodied. He's wounded. He's in his final moments. He is brinks away from death. But then there is a conversation that takes place between Muslim and Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, which is a phenomenal conversation. Because it outlines that Muslim ibn Aqil, not only was he the Safir of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, but he understood the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They say when he was in the palace of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad came towards the presence of Ibn Aqil, Muslim ibn Aqil. When he entered the presence of Muslim, one of the soldiers, he turns to Muslim, he says, Muslim, how dare you not say salam to your Amir? Referring to Ibn Ziyad. Muslim replies, he says, he's not my Amir, he's your Amir. Ibn Ziyad, he looks at Muslim with a smile in his face, he says, Muslim, whether you say salam to me or you don't, I'm still going to kill you. He then says to Muslim, he says, Muslim, why did you even come to Kufa? What was your purpose coming to Kufa? The people of Kufa, they support us, the Banu Umayyah. The people of Kufa, they love us. They love Muawiyah. They love his son Yazid ibn Muawiyah. Why did you come to Kufa? Because your presence in Kufa has caused disunity. Your presence in Kufa has caused fitna and fasad, discord and dissension. You've made issues worse, not only for yourself, but for the people of Kufa. Your presence in Kufa has made matters worse. Why did you even come? Muslim replies, he says, Ibn Ziyad, I came towards the city of Kufa because the people need help. These people understand who you are. They know exactly who you are as a personality, as a person. So your father, Ziyad ibn Abi, was the governor of Kufa. He went around slaughtering their father. They understand your lineage, they understand who Muawiyah was, they understand the oppression that your father gave them and the hardship that he gave them. So they turned to us when they heard that you were appointed by Yazid to become the next governor of Kufa. They had enough of you. So they approached us and they said, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, come towards Kufa, we will support you. Imam Hussein, come towards Kufa, we will support you, we will raise our swords with you and fight against the tyrants of our time. He said they asked us for help because they understood who you are. Not only did they ask us for help, I came towards the city of Kufa to enjoin the good and to forbid the evil, to bring the people back towards following the kitab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to make the people come towards the path of justice. That's why I came towards the city of Kufa. Ibn Ziyad responds, he says, you think you are capable for this job? He says, you think you've come into Kufa to bring about justice and to bring the people towards the path of Allah by following the kitab of Allah. You think you're best suited for the job? Muslim replies, he says, I don't think I'm best suited for the job. I know that we are best suited for the job. He says, you think you're best suited for the job? Muslim, you are the one who used to sit in the streets of Medina drinking wine and becoming intoxicated. Muslim looks at Ibn Ziyad, he says, Ibn Ziyad, you think you've got me confused with someone else? Never have I taken a sip of wine, because I come from a pure family, the family of Rasulullah and the family of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Muslim was the nephew of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Yes, he says these personalities were the personalities that there were a handful of personalities that never drank wine during the age of Jahiliyyah. I come from that lineage, never have I drunk wine. You have me confused for someone else. In fact, you are the one who drinks wine. You are the one who becomes intoxicated. Not only do you become intoxicated, you go around killing. Yes, you shed the blood of innocence. You take fathers away from their children. You take husbands away from their wives. You are the one who destroys families. You know the truth, it hurts. When a person tells you the truth, it's like a slap on the face, isn't it? Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad was slapped by Muslims' words and he became angered, he became enraged. So he says to Muslim, he says, look at you, your soul craves for Khilafah, but Allah refuses the Khilafah for you. You think you're best suited for the job? Muslim replies, he says, I've told you, I don't think we're best suited for the job, we know we are best suited for the job. Muslim, Ibn Ziyad then says to Muslim, he says, it behooves me to kill you in a way that no other person has been killed before. Muslim says, kill me however you want. You are a murderer. You are a criminal. It makes sense for you to kill me in a way that no one has been killed before. Ibn Ziyad in this stage, he then orders his men to take Muslim ibn Aqil towards the highest peak of the palace and to execute him. In this conversation that takes place between Muslim and Ibn Ziyad, it is clear for us that Muslim knew what position Imam Hussein alayhi salam had. He knew the vision of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He knew that Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar was absolutely necessary, and it had to be done, what Imam Hussein alayhi salam was doing. And Muslim gave his life in that way. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Now many people come and ask the question. They say, why did Muslim ibn Aqil, why was he executed? And you find that this is one of the polemical discussions that we have in this day and age. It's a very intense discussion, a very emotional discussion as well. Academic and emotional. Because you'll find the Salafis and the Wahhabis, they come forward and they say that you Shias, you are the ones responsible for killing Muslim ibn Aqil. You are the ones responsible for the battle of Karbala. So why? So because the people, the Shias were the ones who fought against the Imam alayhi salam. The Shias were the ones who were there standing against Imam Hussein alayhi salam in the plains of Karbala. The majority of the people in the army of Umar ibn Sa'ad were Kufans. And these were the same Kufans that sent letters to Imam Hussein alayhi salam saying, come, we will support you. Come, we will raise our swords with you against Yazid. But within a matter of months, they were now fighting not alongside Imam, but against Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So you find that from one party, the Salafis and the Wahhabis are coming forward and saying that you Shias are the ones responsible for the killing and the beheading of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Stop pointing fingers towards Yazid. Yazid is innocent in this affair. It's you, the Shias, that betrayed the Imam alayhi salam. It's an interesting discussion, yes? What's our answer in return? Our answer in return, in a single line, is that the Kufans were not Shias. History tells us that the people of Kufa were not Shias. The Shias were the minorities. So let's examine this. Because remember, when Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam became the Caliph of the Muslim Ummah, he transferred his government from Medina to Kufa. When Rasulullah came and presented the message of Islam, he was in Mecca, but then he moved towards Medina. He established a political establishment in Medina. After him, Abu Bakr took over the Khilafah, he was still in Medina. After him, Umar ibn al-Khattab took over the Khilafah, he was still in Medina. After him, Uthman ibn Affan, he was in Medina. But when Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam came and took hold of the Khilafah, he left Medina and he transferred to Kufa. Why did he transfer to Kufa? One of the reasons that the ulama give, the historians give, they say because the people of Medina were so influenced by the sunnah of Abu Bakr, Umar and Uthman, when Amir al-Mu'mineen became the Caliph, he made it his responsibility to re-establish the sunnah of Rasulullah. But because the people were so heavily influenced by the sunnah of the Khulafa, it was hard for him to bring about the sunnah, the original sunnah of Rasulullah. So he transferred his Khilafah to Kufa. He can then start working on the people of Kufa and try and re-establish the Khilafah of the true sunnah of Rasulullah. And it worked, because the people of Kufa were now considered to be the Shias of Ali alayhi salam. They supported Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. They supported him in Jamal, they supported him in Nahrawan, and they supported him in the Battle of Siffin. The people of Kufa were considered to be what? The Shias of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Imam Ali alayhi salam is martyred in the 19th of Muharram, Ramadan. He's killed, he's shaheed, he leaves. Then Imam Hassan alayhi salam takes over the Khilafah. When Imam Hassan alayhi salam takes over the Khilafah, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan then challenges Imam Hassan to a battle, to a war. And of course, history tells us that Imam Hassan alayhi salam is betrayed by his army. He is then forced into a peace treaty. He signs a peace treaty with Muawiyah. When he signs a peace treaty with Muawiyah, one of the first order of business that Muawiyah conducts is that he wants to destroy Kufa. Because remember, Kufa was known as Markaz al-Tashayyu'. They were the supporters of Ali ibn Abi Talib. As long as they were the supporters and the Shias of Ali, this was a threat to Muawiyah. So Muawiyah makes the decision to destroy Kufa. This loyalty that they had for Imam, it had to be removed. So what does he do? Three things he does. Three tactical strategies he begins to employ to destroy Kufa from within. The first thing he does is economical sanctions. The second is exile, and the third is execution. What's economical sanctions? He began establishing tax rates. Taxes were high for the Ahl al-Shia, extremely high. People couldn't afford. This made the Ahl al-Shia what? Poorer. Number two, he began seizing the properties of the Shias. So for example, if a Shia person, a person who was the follower of Ali ibn Abi Talib had a property, he would seize that property, he would buy it at a very cheap rate, and he would kick out the homeowner. So you found the Shias of the Ahl al-Bayt, they no longer had homes, or they became poorer, for example. They did not have lands, they did not have the authority to own lands. This was one of the strategies that Muawiyah employed. Number two, Muawiyah refused Bayt al-Mal reaching the hands of the Shia, because one of the conditions that Imam Hassan alayhi salam made in the peace treaty was, he said, Muawiyah, one of the conditions is that those who fought alongside my father in Siffin, give them their haqq. Because those who are shaheed in Siffin, they left behind widows and they left behind orphans. Now the widows, they can't work, they need money to look after their families. That support system, that financial support system has to come from Bayt al-Mal. Give them their haqq from Bayt al-Mal. When Muawiyah comes into power, not a single penny goes into their pockets. Not a single penny was distributed to the widows and the orphans that were living in the city of Kufa. Poverty began to prop up amongst the Shias of the Ahl al-Bayt. And whenever there is poverty, guaranteed people don't care about religion anymore. When there is poverty, people don't care about what their allegiance to or their loyalty towards the Ahl al-Bayt. They care about where their bread and butter is coming from. That's why crime began rising in the city of Kufa. People were now leaving their loyalty for Imam Ali alayhi salam, and they transferred their loyalty to Muawiyah, because Muawiyah was in a powerful position. He was able to buy their loyalty. All he had to do was throw dinars and dirhams in their face, and the people would do whatever Muawiyah told them to do. Economical sanctions. And we find this in this day and age as well, that there are certain countries empowering or enforcing economical sanctions on others. Economical sanctions is not a punishment on the government, it's a punishment on the people. Yes, it's a punishment on the elderly, it's a punishment on the widows and the orphans, it's a punishment on the children of that particular country. And it's unfortunate to see this bullying tactic taking place even in this day and age. Muawiyah was a bully, and he established economical sanctions on the Shias of the Ahl al-Bayt, and it destroyed them. It made them poor. After a number of years, their loyalty was no longer for Ali ibn Abi Talib, but it was for Muawiyah, because Muawiyah was able to buy their loyalty. So this was the first area. They say when Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, this is an interesting narration, they say Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, when he became the governor of Kufa, he gave his brother Abdurrahman ibn Ziyad, he had a brother by the name of Abdurrahman. One day he came towards his brother Abdurrahman and he gave him 20 million dinars. 20 million dinars from Bayt al-Mal. This is what the Banu Umayyah used to do. They used to take the money and they used to build themselves. The money that was reserved for the widows and the orphans, no, forget the widows and the orphans. They kept it for themselves. They built palaces, they became rich. Abdurrahman ibn Ziyad took 20 million dinars from his brother Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. They say he used to go into the streets of Kufa and he used to say he was awed, he was shocked. 20 million dinars. So much money. He said he went into the streets of Kufa and he used to go around saying, I have 20 million dinars. I have done hisab, I have accounted for this, and I've come to the conclusion that I can live, if I was to live for 100 years, and every day 1,000 dinars were put into my pockets, I would live a comfortable life. Without the need of working, without the need of engaging any or any transactions, I could live a comfortable life for 100 years because 1,000 dinars would enter my pockets every day. They say not a short while passed until Abdurrahman ibn Ziyad lost all of his money. Whether it got stolen, whether it was mismanagement, the hadith doesn't tell us. It tells us that he lost all of his money. To the extent that one day he was walking in the streets of Kufa with his donkey and he had silver in his hands. He wanted to go sell his silver so that he can pay his bills. So one of these people came towards him and they said, Abdurrahman ibn Ziyad, you're the one who were given, you were given 20 million dinars. What happened to all that money? You are the one who went around boasting, saying that if I was to live for 100 years, I could live a comfortable life. What happened to all that money? You know, today we have athletes getting paid millions. Yes, once they retire, and they retire at a very young age. When they retire, all of a sudden, mismanagement. Yes, they lose all of the millions they gathered in that short period of time being an athlete. This is exactly what happened. He lost all his money. He said, you boasted that you had 20 million dinars. What happened? He replies, he says, كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٍ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. He says, everything perishes except for the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything except for the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you found the Banu Umayyah, they began supporting their own tribe, their own families by stealing money from Bayt al-Mal. And this was one of the tactics employed by Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan to destroy the Shias of Kufa. It was to deprive them from Bayt al-Mal, economical sanctions. Number two was what is known as exile. When Ziyad ibn Abi became the Caliph of Kufa, one of the first order of business was to destroy Kufa. Remember, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan knew that Kufa had to be destroyed because of their loyalty to Imam alayhi salam. So he employs Ziyad ibn Abi to become their governor. Ziyad ibn Abi, they say he was a mass murderer. He was a warmonger. Yes, go read his history and see how many deaths was under his name, how many lives he had taken. Before him, the governor of Kufa was Walid ibn Shu'bah. They say Walid ibn Shu'bah was a genocidal monster. They say one day he left Basra and within 7 to 10 days, 18,000 Shias were killed. 18,000 Shias were killed. Walid ibn Shu'bah. This was one employed by Muawiyah. When he left, Ziyad ibn Abi came into power. Ziyad ibn Abi, they say, do you know what his history is? They say his mother had so much pleasure that when Ziyad was born, they did not know who his father was. So they gave him the title Ziyad, the son of his father. This was Ziyad ibn Abi. He was the governor of Kufa under the employment of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. He came in, again, he was a monster, a genocidal monster. He went around and he began, one of the things he did in Kufa was 50,000 families were exiled from Kufa. He gave the executive order. He said all of the Shias considered to be the followers of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Kufa is no longer your home. Pack your bags and leave. 50,000 Shia families migrated from Kufa towards the lands of Khorasan. That's why the historians, they say one of the things that led about Shiism in the lands of Iran was this exile, that they were migrated from Kufa and they went towards the lands of Khorasan. A large population of Kufa, the loyal supporters of Ali ibn Abi Talib, were exiled. The first was what? Economical sanctions. When the Shias became poor, after a number of generations, after a number of years, 5 to 10 years, their loyalty was bought by Muawiyah. His second tactic was exile. 50,000 families left Kufa. That's a lot of numbers. That's a large number. A large number of the supporters of Ali ibn Abi Talib were exiled. They went towards the lands of Iran. What happened to the lands of Kufa? You think the Shias left? Do you think there were Shias in the lands of Kufa? By God, no. The third tactic was execution. Ziyad ibn Abi, when he came into power, and the reason why Muawiyah chose him to become the governor of Kufa was because he knew exactly who supported Ali ibn Abi Talib. He would indicate, he would pinpoint these people who were the supporters of Ali, and he would go and he would execute them. Fathers were executed, husbands were executed, families were broken by his hands. Look at the example of Hijr ibn Adi al-Kindi. Hijr ibn Adi al-Kindi and 10 of his companions were killed by the hands of Ziyad ibn Abi. They say one day he caught Hijr. When he caught Hijr, he sends a letter to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. He says, I've caught Hijr, what do you want me to do? Hijr was one of the strong supporters, a hardliner, supporter of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He says, what do you want me to do with him? Muawiyah says, either get him to denounce his allegiance for Ali. If he refuses, then show him the sharp side of your sword, i.e. execute him. Hijr, when he is taken by Ziyad ibn Abi, Ziyad approaches him. He says, Hijr, you have two choices. Denounce your allegiance to Ali and praise Muawiyah. Give your allegiance to Muawiyah, or you die. Hijr, he says, it's odd because you want me to praise a man who deserves abuse and you want me to abuse a man who deserves praise. He says, that will never happen. My loyalty is towards Ali and Ali alone. Ziyad, he says, they beat him. They beat Hijr, they punish him, they torture him. He doesn't budge. He doesn't budge. He doesn't give up his loyalty for Imam Ali alayhi salam. To the extent that in his final moments, Hijr, by the way, Ziyad ibn Abi made the decision to execute him. Hijr was in his final moments, and of course the Arabs used to have this thing where the final wishes of the person being executed would be carried out. So before they executed him, they said, Hijr, do you have a final wish? He said, yes. He said, what is it? Hijr says, bring my son. Bring him in front of me and execute him, kill him. I want my son to be executed by your hands. They were shocked. What type of a wish is this? They said, don't ask questions, just do it. This is my final wish. I have this haqq. So they brought his son. He was a young child, a teenager perhaps. They brought him in front of Hijr. They executed his son. Hijr then says, now I am rahat, now I am comfortable. You can execute me. They said, why? Why did you want us to execute your son? He said, because I wanted to know that my son died with the love of Ali ibn Abi Talib in his heart. Now I am comfortable knowing that he died with the love of Ali. Now you can kill me. And this is how Hijr ibn Adi al-Kindi was killed by the hands of Ziyad ibn Abi. And he was a hardliner. He was a supporter of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. When the news reached Aisha, al-Mu'mineen Aisha, the wife of Rasulullah, that Hijr ibn Adi al-Kindi was killed, she says, God curse you, Muawiyah. Why? Because you have killed the ones who used to stand up during the night in Salah. And you used to kill the ones who were the loyal supporters of Rasulullah. You claim yourself to be a supporter of Rasulullah and you go around killing his companions in this way. So you found that Ziyad ibn Abi employed by executing the members of those who supported Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. These three tactics, economical sanctions, exile and execution to those who supported Ali ibn Abi Talib, all of a sudden Kufa was considered to be the markaz of Tashayyu', was no longer considered to be the city of Shi'ism. The hard supporters of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam depleted. That support for the Ahl al-Bayt depleted. Yes, Shias from being the majority were now considered to be the minorities. To the extent that after the death of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, after the peace treaty of Imam Hassan alayhi salam was signed with Muawiyah, 10 years later, at the time of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, between 10 to 20 years later, Kufa, the whole demographics of Kufa had changed 180 degrees. Kufa was now considered to be a cosmopolitan city, like Toronto, like for example London, like for example New York. It was a place of business. Yes, because it was considered to be a place of business, you had Christians living in Kufa, you had Jews living in Kufa, and the majority were Muslims. These Muslims were not the supporters of the Ahl al-Bayt. Because of these three tactical operations that were employed by Muawiyah and Ziyad ibn Abi, the supporters of the Ahl al-Bayt had depleted significantly. That the Shias of the Ahl al-Bayt were now in the minorities. You know, some people, they come forward and they say that one of the reasons that Imam Hussein alayhi salam was executed, or one of the reasons that the Battle of Karbala took place, was because the people of Kufa betrayed him. Yes, we have this, don't we? We say that these people were Kufans. And what does that mean when we say these people were Kufans? It means that they have this tendency to what? To betray. That's not necessarily true. It's true to an extent. But we cannot come forward and say that the whole of Kufa betrayed Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Because just like any city in the world, Kufa had good people and bad people. Just in the world, we have good, the best of the best, and we have the worst of the worst. Kufa likewise was the same. The majority of the people of Kufa were not Shias, but the minorities that were there, the Shias, they made sure that they stood alongside Imam Hussein alayhi salam in the battle of Karbala. You had people like Habib ibn Madahir, who had to escape Kufa to join the ranks of Imam Hussein. You had people like Muslim ibn Awsaja. You had people like, for example, Hur ibn Yazid al-Riyah. He was a Kufan. Yes. You had people like, they say the night of Ashura, 50 people from the camp of from Umar ibn Sa'ad changed sides. We hear about Hur ibn Yazid al-Riyah. Yes, how he changed camps last minute. He wasn't the only one. There were 50 alongside him who joined the camp of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They were all Kufans. Yes, these were the supporters of the Ahl al-Bayt. Not all of Kufa were evil and betrayed. They had this tendency to betray the Imam alayhi salam. Some, those in the minorities, they loved the Ahl al-Bayt and they joined the ranks of the Ahl al-Bayt. The likes of Burayr. They say Burayr, for example, he was from amongst the ulama of Kufa. He used to sit in Masjid al-Kufa and he used to recite the Quran. He was considered to be Qari'at al-Quran. Yes, Qari' al-Quran, to the extent that when Karbala took place, when the men were beheaded and they were placed on the spears taken towards the streets of Kufa, when the people saw the head of Burayr, they wailed. They began lamenting, they began crying. They said, we recognize this face. This is the face that used to sit in Masjid al-Kufa reciting the Holy Quran. This is the face that taught us how to recite the Quran and taught our children to recite the Quran. How can you go and kill a man like this? A man like Burayr? These were the true supporters of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And they made sure they joined the ranks of Imam alayhi salam. The majority were the ones who betrayed him. So they say that when Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad was appointed by Yazid ibn Muawiyah to become the leader of Kufa, he employed the same strategies, the same tactics that were employed by his father Ziyad ibn Abi. He was a terrorist. Yes, the true manifestation of the word of terrorism, he was a manifestation of terrorists. Today we talk about terrorism. You think terrorism began today? It existed in the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam. It existed in the time of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, when he entered the streets of Kufa, he began terrorizing the people. He began what? He began threatening them with death. He said, if you support Imam Hussein alayhi salam, then I will kill you. Yes, remember, the demographics of Kufa changed entirely. These people were no longer the supporters of Ali ibn Abi Talib, nor were they the supporters of the Umayyad dynasty. They were in between. They had no support for, they had no loyalty for Ali ibn Abi Talib, and they had no loyalty for Muawiyah. They would go wherever the wind would push them. And all Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad had to do was give them that fear. All he had to do was instill fear into their hearts to buy their loyalty. So he walks into Kufa. He starts throwing money into the faces of the leaders of the tribes. All of a sudden they start supporting Ibn Ziyad. He walks into Kufa, he threatens the people with death and destruction. All of a sudden they begin to support him. Yes, that support, that initial support that they had for Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam was removed. It disappeared, dissipated. Then all of a sudden they started showing support to Ibn Ziyad. They say Ibn Ziyad, when he entered the streets of Kufa, they say Muslim ibn Aqil was in the house of Mukhtar al-Thaqafi. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One of the reasons why the support of Imam Hussein alayhi salam dissipated was because of terrorism, is because of the actions of Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad terrorized the people, and all of a sudden their support transferred from Imam Hussein alayhi salam to Ibn Ziyad. So this is the first reason as to why the support for Imam Hussein alayhi salam was no longer there, because their loyalty was no longer, their loyalty was easily bought. That loyalty of being the true supporters of the Ahl al-Bayt no longer existed. The second reason why Aqil failed in his mission, and when the historians say failed, it means that the reason why he was executed was because of his akhlaq. And this is something very important for us to understand. People don't realize this. People don't acknowledge the akhlaq that Muslim ibn Aqil had. What do I mean by his akhlaq? They say that when Muslim ibn Aqil entered Kufa, he went straight to the house of Mukhtar al-Thaqafi. Mukhtar al-Thaqafi is the one who avenged Karbala. He goes into the house of Mukhtar al-Thaqafi and he resides in that house. At this time, in this moment of time, people started coming towards the house of Mukhtar al-Thaqafi and they began giving allegiance to Muslim. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad then comes after and he enters the streets of Kufa. He enters the city of Kufa. When he enters the city of Kufa, people know that Muslim is in the house of Mukhtar. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad enters the palace, he delivers a sermon and he tells the people that if you do not show support to me, then I will kill you. Remember, the army of Yazid ibn Muawiyah are on their way. If you do not show your support towards me, this army will come and I will order them to kill you. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad was a monster. Do you know what he did? They said there was a man who had come from Sham. There was a Shammi. He came towards the city of Kufa. Why did he come to the city of Kufa? He came to the city of Kufa for a personal, private issue. One of his family members died in Kufa and he came towards Kufa to resolve the inheritance, the laws of inheritance. He had to come sign some papers and then leave and go back to Sham. He comes into Kufa and Ibn Ziyad gets hold of him. Ibn Ziyad says to him, he says, you have to show loyalty to Yazid ibn Muawiyah. Since you've come to Kufa, take a sword, raise your hands and fight against Husayn ibn Ali. The man responds, he says, Ibn second, this is not my affair, this is not my business. This is your business and the business of Yazid ibn Muawiyah. I've come here to sign papers. That's all I've come to Kufa for. Not fight in a war. This war is none of my business. As a response, Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad executes the man. He executes the man, then gives a sermon. He says, look, this person was a Shammi. He was a supporter of the Hukumat of Yazid. I gave him an order. He did not comply and I executed him. He says, I do not care for this person. You think I'm going to care for you? This is how fear was instilled into the hearts of the Kufans. All of a sudden they supported Ibn Ziyad. So they say that when he entered the streets of Kufa, he delivers sermons one after another and he instills fear into the hearts of the people. One of the things he does is he tries to employ spies. So he sends spies into the streets of Kufa to find out who the hardliners, the hard supporters of Ali ibn Abi Talib are, and to execute them one by one. News reaches him that Muslim is in the house of Mukhtar. When Mukhtar al-Thaqafi finds out that Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad has entered the city of Kufa, he tells Muslim, he says, Muslim, leave this place. Because it won't be a time, it won't be long before the agents of Ibn Ziyad come towards this house. So Muslim escapes the house of Mukhtar and he goes towards the house of Hani ibn Urwa. Ibn Ziyad finds out that Muslim was in the house of Mukhtar. He raids the house of Mukhtar. He takes Mukhtar and places him in prison. One of the reasons why Mukhtar was unable to be there in Karbala alongside Imam Hussein alayhi salam was because he was imprisoned by Ibn Ziyad. Muslim escapes from the house of Mukhtar. He goes towards the house of Hani ibn Urwa. No one knows about this. This is now secret. No one knows that Muslim is in the house of Hani. It's only Hani, Muslim and his wife who knows that Muslim is in his house. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, what he does is, Hani ibn Urwa was a person who was respected. He was an old person. He was from amongst the elderly. He was the leader of the tribes of Kufa. So he had respect from Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad sends him a message. He says, Hani, I've come towards Kufa. How come you've not come to see me? Hani says, sorry, I'm very sick. I'm old. Hani was sick at that time. He says, I'm old and I'm sick. I can't leave my house. Ibn Ziyad says, no problem. I'll come to you. I'll visit you. Hani, he says to Muslim, he says, Muslim, Ibn Ziyad is on his way, he's coming to visit me tonight. Let's plot something. Ibn Ziyad will enter my house and it's only going to be me and him. We will speak, we will discuss. You hide in this closet. When I give you the signal, come out with your sword and strike him. If Muslim ibn Aqil had that opportunity to strike Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, Karbala would have taken place. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, if Ibn Ziyad had been executed by Muslim ibn Aqil, Imam Hussein had a very good chance rising arms against Yazid ibn Muawiyah. He would have had a very good opportunity to overpower Yazid and overthrow the Hukumat of Yazid if Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad had been executed by the hands of Muslim ibn Aqil. Ibn Ziyad comes into the house, Muslim hides behind the closet. Then there is a discussion that takes place between Ibn Ziyad and Hani. Hani, through his speech, makes many isharat, many signals. Muslim, this is the time. Muslim, this is the time. Come and strike him. Muslim, come out and strike him. Muslim doesn't do a single thing. He doesn't make a single move. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad then gets up and he leaves. He goes back to his palace. Hani comes out. Muslim comes out from the closet. Hani says to him, he says, Muslim, why did you not strike Ibn Ziyad? You had such a beautiful opportunity and you did not strike Ibn Ziyad. Muslim replies, he says, there are many reasons why I did not strike Ibn Ziyad. One of these reasons, historians outline these reasons. They say one of these reasons was because Hani's wife said to Muslim, do not kill him. Because if you kill him in our house, then the Banu Umayyah will come and they will slaughter my husband and my children. But this wasn't the reason why. He said the reason why is because Iman protects a person from committing things which are deceitful. A person who has Iman will never kill a person out of trickery and deceit. I am from the lineage of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And I have learned the adab of battle, the adab of war. That when I fight my enemy has to know who I am. I cannot kill out of trickery and deceit. This was the adab of the Ahl al-Bayt when they fought their enemies. That when the enemy submits to them, yes, they will show mercy upon them. What happened in the time when Amr ibn al-As was amongst those who fought against Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam? They say when Amir al-Mu'mineen was about to deliver the final strike, what does Amr ibn al-As do? He removes his pants. Yes, he exposes himself to Imam Ali alayhi salam. What does the Imam do? The Imam turns his face and he walks away. Because this is from amongst the adab of battle. That you cannot humiliate the person that you're about to kill. Let him die with dignity. Yes? This was the adab of the Ahl al-Bayt in battle. It was not dignified for Muslim to come out the closet and to strike Ibn Ziyad without even Ibn Ziyad knowing. He said, when I fight Ibn Ziyad, it has to be front, one-on-one. He has to know that I am fighting him. Because this is the adab of my father, this is the adab of my father and my uncle Ali ibn Abi Talib. It's for this reason, the akhlaq of Muslim ibn Aqil, that eventually led to his demise. And this is something very important for us to understand, that one of the reasons why Muslim ibn Aqil was overwhelmed and overpowered was because of his akhlaq. The means can never justify the ends in Islam. The ends is not justified by the means. Yes? If the end is good, but the means towards that end is evil, the end is not good. This is what Islam teaches us. When that famous woman was asked in public, in 1992 or 1996, can't remember, you invaded Iraq, you put sanctions against Saddam Hussein, as a result 500,000 Iraqi children were victims and they were killed. Was it worth it? She says what? She says it was absolutely worth it. To get to Saddam, 500,000, 500,000 children, Iraqi children had to be slaughtered. She said it was worth it. The means can never justify the ends in the religion of Islam. And that's something very important for us to understand. Because Islam dictates to us that we have to be kind to others around us, yes? But when we show kindness towards others, our rights are trampled upon, aren't they? because we're kind, because we're good to those around us. So some of us, what do we make the decision to not be kind anymore. No, be kind. If shaitan tramples on your rights, remember Allah is standing alongside you. Remember that today if your rights are trampled upon because you are kind to others around you, then years later Allah will show and reward you for those kindness that you demonstrated to the people. Muslim ibn Aqil demonstrate a powerful lesson that the ends is never justified by the means. The ends has to be good and the means to that end has to be good. Always has to be good. That's why they say that when Muslim ibn Aqil was in his final moments, when he was standing alongside Ibn, having this conversation with Ibn Ziyad was enraged by the words of Muslim ibn Aqil. He then said to Muslim, he said to his men, he said, take Muslim towards the roof and execute him. When they took him towards the roof, it was the custom of the Arabs to what? To allow this person who is being executed to have a final wish. Muslim ibn Aqil, what was his wish? He asks for water. They bring him a cup of water. He's about to take a sip. What happens? The blood that flows from his mouth. Remember, he has a bloody mouth, yes? It begins to contaminate the water. He spills the water away. He says, this water has become najis. Give me another cup of water so I can drink from it. They say when they brought him another cup of water, the water again it was contaminated by his own blood. He spills the water away. He says, this water has become, bring me a third cup so I can drink from this water. They bring him a third cup. He's about to drink. Again, the water is contaminated by the blood. He then realizes that his fate is to die in thirst. Just as how Abu Abdullah alayhi salam and his companions were martyred in the plains of Karbala in thirst. He then turns towards Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He faces towards the direction of Kufa. He faces the direction of Kufa. He cries out. He says, As-salamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah, alayka minni salam. They say he sends his salams to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and then he is executed, he is beheaded. Not only is it beheaded, but they dishonor his holy body. They take his body and they throw it from the roof of the palace. They throw his body from the roof of the palace, it lands on the ground. Not only that, they tie his leg towards the legs of the horse and they begin to drag his body in the streets of Kufa. They say that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, as he's on his way towards Karbala, he turns towards Kufa, he faces Kufa, and he says, Alayka minni salam, ya akhi, ya safiri. They say that when Imam Hussein alayhi salam responds towards the salam of Muslim, Zainab al-Kubra, she turns to her brother Abu Abdullah. She says, Ya akhi, yabna Rasulullah, who do you send your salams to? She says, Ya Zainab. He says, Ya Zainab, I've just received news that Muslim has been beheaded, Muslim has been executed. Wa-wayla wa-Husayna. They begin to cry, they begin to shed tears, they begin to lament. Abbas laments, Zainab laments. Imam Hussein alayhi salam then says, bring me the family of Aqil, bring me the family and the sons and the daughters of Muslim. When the children of Muslim are brought forth, he holds them with his hands, he picks them up, he embraces them. He says to Zainab, he says, where is the daughter of Hamida? Bring me the daughter of Muslim. They say that when Hamida, she was a young girl. How can Abu Abdullah break the news to a young girl at the age of 7 or 8? How can he tell her that her father has just been executed? When Hamida was brought to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he carries her, he places her in his laps, then he begins to caress her head, then he begins to pat her head. She says, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Abu Abdullah, what has happened to my father, a Muslim? Hamida, she understood what's happened. Abu Abdullah alayhi salam, he says, Ya Hamida, what makes you think that something has happened to your father? She says, Ya Abu Abdullah, you treat me the way you treat the orphans, you pat my head the way you pat the heads of the orphans. Have I become an orphan, Ya Abu Abdullah? Tell me what's happened to my father Muslim? Abu Abdullah begins to cry. Baka buka shadida, the riwayah says. He begins to cry severely. The tears flow from his eyes. Then Hamida begins to cry. And when she begins to lament her father, they say the family of Aqil, they all begin to lament after hearing the cries of Hamida. He says, Ya Hamida, I am your father now, and Zainab is your mother. My daughters are your sisters, and my sons are your brothers. They say he then leaves Hamida. He then goes away for a while. Then all of a sudden he's standing alongside the khayma, he's standing alongside the tents, and he begins to hear cries of a young girl. He begins to hear the lamentations of a young girl. Then he understands it is Hamida who is crying. So what does he do? He begins to console Hamida. So he opens the tent, but he doesn't find Hamida crying. Who does he find crying? He finds his own daughter Sukaina crying. Sukaina sitting alongside Hamida. She is embracing Hamida. She then tells Hamida, she says, Ya Hamida, you've lost your father, but we are here with you. We are here to support you and look after you. Ya Sukaina, you were there to console Hamida, but who was there to console you on the 10th of Muharram? Who was there to console you on the day of the 10th when the head of Abdullah was separated from this body? They say that on the 10th of Muharram, when the battle had finished, they were all in the tents of Shimr ibn al-Joshan. They were there in the tents of Shimr. When one of them turned to Zainab and they said, Ya Zainab, we don't know where Sukaina is. Sukaina is not from amongst us. Zainab looks around, she can't find Sukaina. So she stands up. Once she stands up, Shimr begins to whip Zainab. She says, Shimr, stop, my niece is missing. Let me go find Sukaina. Once she leaves the tent, she goes around looking for Sukaina. She finds Sukaina alongside the body of her father. Sukaina on the chest of Abu Abdullah, embracing Abu Abdullah. لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. We end with this dua. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. 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 اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا حسين 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 يا حسين. As the Shaykh had mentioned about the Masa'ib of Hazrat Muslim, how he was killed on the plains of Kufa, the poem pens this poem as though the Lady of Light might have returned to the plains of Kufa, crying for her son Muslim. Muslim gharib, Muslim gharib, Muslim gharib, Muslim gharib. कर रही थी लाशे मुस्लिम पे ये ज़हरा बुका, कर रही थी लाशे
مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا یا علی کوفے میں پھر آئی ہے رونے سیدہ کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا آپ پر جب ابن ملجم نے کیا سجدے میں وار، ہاتھ پہلو پر رکھے یا آئی تھی میں پہلی بار، آج پھر اس حال میں زہرا کو ہے آنا پڑا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ بکا کوفے والوں نے سے مل کر ہے مارا یا علی، لاش مسلم ہے سے پارا پارا یا علی، جسم ہے سارا میرے بچوں کا زخموں سے بھرا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کس طرح میں نے سنبھالا، کس طرح تھا ماں سے، کیا بتاؤں میں کھڑی تھی ہاتھ پھیلائے ہوئے، دارالامارا سے جب تھا لاشِ مسلم گرا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا کا کچھ ہی دن میں پھر یہاں آؤں گی میں روتی ہوئی، اس کے بچوں پر چلے گی جب کہ حارث کی چھری، میں سنبھالوں گی انہیں آ کر رقیہ کی جگہ کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا بکا کر رہی تھی لاش، مسلم پہ یہ زہرا کا بہن تھے اکبر زبان سیدہ پر بس یہی، ساتھ زینب کے یہاں پھر مجھ کو آنا ہے ابھی، شام تک لے جائے گا कूफे से गम का सिलसिला कर रही थी लाशें, मुस्लिम पे ये ज़हरा बुका कर रही थी लाशें, मुस्लिम पे ये ज़हरा बुका। या अली कूफे में फिर आई है रोने सैयदा कर रही थी लाशें, मुस्लिम पे ये ज़हरा बुका कर रही थी, मुस्लिम पे ये ज़हरा। या इमाम ज़माना, 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 ज़माना। या कायम अल अजल, या कायम, या कायम, या कायम, या कायम, या कायम, या कायम मुहम्मद व आल मुहम्मद सलवात। मुहम्मद व आल मुहम्मद।
توجه زيارة عاشوراء.
زيارة عاشوراء. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوسيين، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة سيدة النساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا سار الله وابن ساري والوتر الموتور، السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار. يا أبا عبد الله، لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت وعظمت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام، وجلت وعظمت مصيبتك في السماوات على جميع أهل السماوات. فلعن الله أمة أسست أساس الظلم والجور عليكم أهل البيت، ولعن الله أمة دفعتكم عن مقامكم وأزالتكم عن مراتبكم التي رتبكم الله فيها، ولعن الله أمة قتلتكم، ولعن الله الممهدين لهم بالتمكين من قتالكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم ومن أشياعهم وأتباعهم وأولئهم. يا أبا عبد الله، إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم، إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم إلى يوم القيامة. ولعن الله آل زياد وآل مروان، ولعن الله بني أمية قاتبة، ولعن الله ابن مرجان، ولعن الله عمر بن سعد، ولعن الله شمرا، ولعن الله أمة أسرجت وألجمت وتنقبت لقتالك بأبي أنت وأمي. لقد أزم مصابي بك، فأسأل الله الذي أكرم مقامك وأكرمني بك أن يرزقني طلب سادك مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم اجعلني عندك وجيها بالحسين عليه السلام في الدنيا والآخرة. يا أبا عبد الله، إني أتقرب إلى الله وإلى رسوله وإلى أمير المؤمنين وإلى فاطمة وإلى الحسن وإليك بموالاتك وبالبراءة ممن أسس أساس ذلك وبنى عليه بنيانه وجرى في ظلمه وجوره عليكم وعلى أشيائكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم وأتقرب إلى الله ثم إليكم بموالاتكم وموالاة وليكم وبالبراءة من أعدائكم والناسبين لكم الحرب وبالبراءة من أشيائهم وأتباعهم. إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب
لمن حاربكم.
إني سلم
لمن
سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم وولي لمن والاكم وعدو لمن عاداكم. فأسأل الله الذي أكرمني بمعرفتكم ومعرفة أوليائكم ورزقني البراءة من أعدائكم أن يجعلني معكم في الدنيا والآخرة. يا أبا عبد الله في الدنيا والآخرة وأن يثبت لي عندكم قدم صدق في الدنيا والآخرة وأسأله أن يبلغني المقام المحمود لكم عند الله وأن يرزقني طلب سارك مع إمام هدى ظاهر ناطق بالحق منكم. وأسأل الله بحقكم وبالشأن الذي لكم عنده أن يؤتيني بمساببكم أفضل ما يؤتي مسابا بمصيبته مصيبة ما أعظمها وأعظم رزيتها في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. اللهم اجعلني في مقام هذا ممن تناله منك صلوات ورحمة ومغفرة. اللهم اجعل محيا محمد وآل محمد ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني هذا يوم تبركت به بنو أمية وابن عاكلة الأقباد اللعين ابن اللعين على لسانك ولسان نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله في كل موطن وموقف وقف فيه نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم الآن أبا سفيان ومعاوية ويزيد بن معاوية عليهم منك اللعنة أبد العابدين. وهذا يوم فريت به آل زياد وآل مروان بقتلهم الحسين صلوات الله عليه. اللهم فضاعف عليهم اللعنة منك والعذاب الأليم. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك في هذا اليوم وفي موقفي هذا وأيام حياتي بالبراءة منهم واللعنة عليهم وبالموالاة لنبيك وآل نبيك عليه وعليهم السلام. اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابه له على ذلك. اللهم لعن النسامة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايت وبايت وتابت على قتلهم. اللهم لعنهم جميعا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. اللهم خص أنت أول ظالم باللعن مني وابدأ به أولا ثم الثانية والثالثة والرابعة. اللهم الآن يزيد خامسا والآن عبيد الله بن زياد وابن مرجان وعمر بن سعد وشمرا وعلى أبي سفيان وعلى زياد وعلى مروان إلى يوم القيامة. اللهم لك الحمد هم الشاكرين لك على مصابهم. الحمد لله على عظيم رضيته. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود وثبت لي قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا نهجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام.
اللهم صل على محمد. بسم
الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك توا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد.
الفاتحة.
Just an announcement on the ladies' side. A mobile phone was found on the ladies' side and the sisters' side. If anyone has lost a cell phone, they can contact or they can see Sister Arifa. She has a cell phone that has been lost. Extra pens. Thank you very much. Jazakallah.
It's out from there. Good? They're old men. They need the spark. Very nice.